It is the very next day. Still pretty warm out, just hovering right around freezing today, around 31 degrees. But we can see a ton of work that has happened once again. And when I was coming down the road, I could barely see the top of the bulldozer. So I know that pond back there is getting really deep. You can also see all the clay that they put on this side of the house yesterday. They went ahead, bulldozed it, leveled it, graded it all out nicely, so it's looking really good. Jessica's actually going to be coming back out here with me tomorrow. We're going to take a look at it, probably spend a little bit of time out here watching the equipment move around and some of this dirt moving happening. Seems like she enjoys it just as much as I do. But yeah, definitely looking great. Off-road dump truck just went ahead and dumped a load just now. So let's jump back here though, and we'll see how deep of a hole they got in the ground. Standing up here on the top of the hill now, let's see that they got quite a bit moved yesterday. So when I was here, there was that low spot dug down there in the bottom. Looks like that's what they're doing right now, trying to get that down to that deep hole that I want of 25 feet. Looks like they're just starting to outline where the outskirts of the pond will be. So definitely a lot of dirt moving going on here, and trying to do it as meticulously as possible so that they're able to still get the off-road dump truck still back down here. There was the off-road dump truck, so I'm gonna run down here and take a look at the bottom of the hole now. Pretty surprised though that there's actually not too much water coming in here yet. Looks like there might be a little bit here and here, but down here in the bottom of the hole, let's take a look. I'm not seeing too much down here yet. Just a little bit right down there in the very bottom. With how warm it's been though, I'm still surprised that we don't have more flowing in here. Hopefully they're able to get this whole thing dug without even needing to bring the pump in and pump this out. Might be possible, but probably just gonna try to figure out, probably just going to try to finish this deep hole, and then if there does end up being water in here, it can just kind of sit down in here if that part is finished. Jumping into the drone video now, starting at my usual spot over here on this side of the house. Over here on the left side of the screen, since I had filmed there the day prior, see they took the bulldozer and leveled off all that clay to the grade that we want. So that grade actually looks really nice. That's how we currently left it. At the time of me filming this voiceover, they have actually just finished framing the first floor of our house. So it's starting to really take shape. Starting to really look like a house now, but a ton of dirt moved here. We ended up moving a total of 8,800 cubic yards, so a lot more than we thought that we were going to need, but we got it to the grade that we wanted it to be. House is still up nice and tall on the very top of that hill, which is exactly what Jessica wants it to look like as well. So now getting back here towards the pond, doesn't look a whole lot than it did when I was filming in person. I'm not too much taller or higher up in altitude than I was when I was standing on the top of our topsoil pile there. I'm able to get a pretty good view from the top of those piles because we have so many all around the property. If we do end up needing more topsoil, it's a good thing we have the farm field right behind the house, because we will just go ahead and take a little bit more from there. There's at least a foot of topsoil on there, and you do not need that much to grow crops. I was really surprised that they were able to get this entire half an acre pond dug without any of that water coming in here. They did not need to pump it out at all the entire time. I'm sure once it hits springtime though, this thing's going to fill up pretty fast. Still working on getting a trail camera set up here in order to record time-lapse video and be able to see how this fills up over the time. Of course, if we have a heavy rainfall in the springtime, I'm sure it's going to fill up really fast. That is a huge load on the off-road dump truck. This thing can hold 18 cubic yards, and looks like he has all of that in it. I was actually maybe going to install a sprinkler system from this pond. After digging into it a little bit more, it seems pretty complicated. Probably going to cost $5,000 just in the raw materials alone, the plumbing, the pump, the electrical. So I don't think we're going to go ahead and do that now. We're just going to go ahead and plant some grass that is a little bit more resistant to the weather, that can withstand some drought. Really want some Kentucky bluegrass, but might need fine fescues that are a little bit more resistant to that. But looking into this a little bit more, I was going to run power out to the dock location. I think a better idea is actually to install a small shed out here right next to the pond. I think that's a good idea because eventually, if we end up having kids, we can go ahead and store any water toys out there, any fishing tackle, gear, maybe put a lawnmower out there or any gardening equipment. And then I could run a sub panel, electrical sub panel out to that shed and run power to there. So we'd have it available for any lights we want to add in the future, as well as electrical outlets. Definitely going to be adding an aerator to this pond. Not sure if I'm going to do that in the first year. Probably will get it all set up just in case. Won't be really needed, but I'm still debating as to when to stock that pond. Probably going to put minnows in it the first year. I know there's a lot of people that say just leave minnows in it and then stock it with the larger fish the second year. It gives those minnows a little bit of a head start to keep reproducing and get to a larger size that some of the fish can't eat. I really want to stock it with some bluegill. I know there's some hybrid bluegill. I really want largemouth bass, and Jessica agrees because those largemouth will eat the frogs that she doesn't like, and maybe a couple perch. Since we do have such a nice deep pond, I'm thinking perch will be able to survive in it. This last load with the off-road dump truck, you can see how much is still stuck in the back of the bed. That's the downfall of working with all this clay. He did lose quite a few cubic yards in there. But, you know, when he gets back here to the excavator usually did a pretty good job of digging that out of there. And hopefully it falls out the next time. But we're heading back here to the pond. Again, the deepest point of this pond right now is probably about 15 feet. The next day you'll see there is more excavating done, and they got to a depth of about 20 feet. 22 feet if you measure from the top of the sand. I went and talked to him, and so right now what they're trying to do is get this cut down a little bit. Then he can get a little bit closer to this hole, just take that stick and dig down as far as he can to hopefully get down to that 25 feet that we want in the bottom of that. Might be a little bit deeper, might be a little shallower, we'll see. If you've been liking this so far though, make sure to go down below, give this video a thumbs up, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and leave any questions and comments you have down below. Also, if you need any excavating done, make sure you check out Finney Trucking. Link for them is also in the description down below. Heck, go over to their Facebook page, give their Facebook page a like too if you like seeing all this work. They've been great to work with, and definitely really appreciate it. I'm gonna go ahead, run back to the truck now, throw the drone back up in the air, and get a couple of those aerial views. I was on my way back to the truck and I realized I didn't really show you guys this side of the house, how much dirt has been hauled in here. So it's kind of where the sand ends and where they started going ahead and dumping the clay. So again, quite a bit of clay in this area. All they have to do is go ahead, continue sloping this out right there where the banks are of our topsoil stacked over there. So once they go ahead and fill in from here to there, that'll be pretty much all the clay that we need for this area. And that's just a matter of going back down there and figuring out how we want that pond shaped the rest of the way. So kind of got a rough idea in my head what I want it to look like. It's just a matter of bringing that to reality and getting it to look exactly how we want it to. But the front side of the house, like I said, over here, looks pretty well complete. You know, all this clay graded down in here. And like I said, just going ahead and filling in from here to that area. And then all our excavating will probably be pretty much done for a while. They'll bring the topsoil back over the top. And hopefully framing will be beginning on our house by that time. I'm gonna go ahead and watch the off-road dump truck dump one more load, include a little bit of that raw video at the end of this video as usual, and then jump back to the truck and fly my drone. He said part of the problem is all that clay getting stuck in the excavator bucket as well as in the back of the off-road dump truck, and you can kind of see a little bit of that here. So every now and then they're using the excavator and trying to clean out the back end of the dump truck so that they can at least get full loads being trucked from there over to here. Jumping back to the drone video now, the off-road dump truck is just making its way back to where the excavator is sitting with a full scoop of clay to dump in there. At the time of me filming this, voiceover, the pond's completely done. Like I said, they're doing framing. Pretty much all the excavating on our property is complete until the springtime. Once springtime rolls around, they will be back. They will be installing the culvert in the driveway. They will be adding the crushed gravel to our driveway, as well as putting in the septic system and then bringing our topsoil back over the top of this clay. You can kind of see the excavator going ahead scraping out the back of the off-road dump truck here. And yeah, that's a couple cubic yards that they weren't able to dump out of the back of it just because that clay is just getting so sticky. I'm going to stop talking now and let you guys enjoy some of this raw video. One more video left of excavating, and then it will be into framing of our house. So if you've been enjoying this, make sure you go down below, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're not, and make sure you leave any questions and comments down below. And until the next one, I'll see you then. Thanks for watching, and make sure you hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed this video. Also, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next videos I will be posting, and leave your questions, comments, and suggestions below.